afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome to Woodbridge Township, the best town around. My name is John McCormick. I'm the mayor of this great town, and we're here today for the very special occasion of having a groundbreaking ceremony for the future senior citizen complex to be named in honor of the late, great Stephen J. Pete Dalina. It'll be called Dalina Manor. This used to be the Hope Lawn VFW, and with respect to the members of the club, if you guys don't mind, would you come up and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Tony, and Tom, and Bill's already up here. Take it away.
With the flag.
All right.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Two.
Thank you, gentlemen. There's Tom Gockel, Tony Payon, Tony Romano, and Bill Wisk of the Hope Lawn VFW. So, speaking of the VFW, many years ago, they came to us, members of the club came to us, and I should also remember Steve Sir, who was so instrumental in this whole transaction happening. The VFW came to us and was having trouble, keeping their operation afloat. Building was older, needed repairs, and they wanted to do something with it that the township would like to have seen done with it, which I wish everybody would do that when something like that happens. And so we have a chance to, work with it for the betterment of the community. So we decided that this would be a site for senior housing. We have a very significant demand for senior housing in town. All our senior buildings are full. You're going to hear from the Ingerman Group, which is doing this project, but they opened up Reinhardt Manor a little over a year ago with hundreds of names, hundreds of applicants for 62 units. So it shows the need for this type of product in Woodbridge Township. And Steve and the members of the club, members on the board, ultimately voted in favor of selling land to the township for this project, and I just think the VFW has been a pleasure to work with. Everything they said they would do, they did. Everything we said we would do, we did. We're going to have them a proper space to meet in this new facility once it's built. There'll be a permanent memory of it with some of their paraphernalia, some of their monuments. They'll be displayed when this is all built, so we've had nothing but respect for the men of the Hope Lawn VFW, and thank you for being out here today. The financing for this project, it's all complicated. I don't even fully understand it, and I'm a finance guy, but it's through the New Jersey Housing and Mortgage Finance Agency, and Tony Marquette is a guy I had the pleasure of working with when I was down in Trenton many years ago. Brilliant mind who just understands this whole field, and without the financing, without the help of people in Trenton and that agency, this would not have happened. So I'd like to ask Tony Marquette to come up and say a few words.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. Well, he's right. This stuff is very complicated, and quite honestly, if I didn't have good staff members like Drew, raise your hand. It'd be trouble for me to try to get all this material together. Let me just tell you, the Housing and Mortgage Finance Agency is New Jersey's affordable housing bank. We've got $4 billion in assets. We've got 200,000 units under our monitoring every year. We financed over the decades. We've been around a little over 40 years. We have 300 people there. And let me also tell you that we don't get a dime out of that state budget that's going to be adopted, hopefully, today. All the revenue that we generate to pay our salaries and operations come from our own devices, our own programs. And I'm very proud of that. We've been able to maintain a solid budget for the last 5 years. And in addition to keeping our staff at a cost about the same, we've more than doubled the amount of activity we've done. Last year we set a record. We financed over 8,000 units of affordable housing throughout the state of New Jersey. That's an all-time record. It only beat 2 years ago where we did 6,000. So we've been really busy down there doing affordable housing throughout the state of New Jersey. And in fact, I have my chief of staff at another groundbreaking this morning up in Bergen County. She would have rather been here because she knows the mayor and Caroline very well. But she, Donna Rendero, is actually covering for me up in Emerson, New Jersey. But this type of work is complicated. It takes a lot of partners to get together. So you've got a wonderful governing body, mayor council, working with the county government. Carol Belante and I go back to New Brunswick. I won't say how long ago, but it was a while ago. That takes effort. Coupled with the state, we've been able to put together a great financing structure. We're utilizing both agency financing, our dollars as a partial loan, but the group that you've engaged, the developer that you engaged, Bruce Morgan of Ingerman, was able to put together a great package that won a 9% tax credit award. That's a federal program, low-income housing tax credits. If you think financing is complicated, let me tell you, tax credits are even more so. And they were able to put together a great package and got the funding for this 9% tax credit award. Let me tell you, that's no small accomplishment, because out of every 4 or 5 applications we get, we only fund one. So they did a great job for you. So I want to congratulate the entire team of individuals that participated in it. And quite honestly, the Hope One VFW Hall did a great job too, and was very commendable for their contribution towards this. And I saw that half of the representation today are named Tony. There are never enough Tonys around. So just wanted to add that. But I want to, again, congratulate you. This $12 million project that we're financing today will provide 56 units of affordable senior housing for the residents of Woodbridge. And I couldn't be happier. And I know the mayor, big guy, twists my arm real hard. He's got a couple other projects in his back pocket. And I'm sure we'll be doing more groundbreaking in the future. Again, congratulations on a job well done.
I'm going to jump out of order while we're talking about the financing and bring up Bruce Morgan from the Ingerman Group. I met them way back in the 90s when they took the old Maple Tree Tavern and turned it into Maple Tree Manor. Right now, I think our most vibrant of our 7 senior buildings, the newest naturally, so it's got all the better amenities than the others. They also have done Reinhardt Manor, which I spoke about earlier. They are working on the Buns Lane project, which should start in the fall and ultimately result in the tearing down of the old, not terribly attractive federal housing project there and replacing that with brand new apartments. And they are also working on, help me out, I had them in my head. What's the fourth thing you would?
Red Oak. Red Oak.
Stern.
Red Oak project.
Oh, right, downtown. They're working downtown on the on replacing Stern Tower, moving it over to near the Sycamore Center in Port Reading, and doing some commercial development down there. And
We just finished
Reinhardt, I said. I think I'm missing one. Anyway, let me bring up, I'll think about it, but let me bring up Bruce Morgan from Ingerman to speak about his role in this whole project. And let me tell you, based on the job they've done so far with Maple Tree and with Reinhardt, they can build as many of these things as they want in town. If we find land for senior housing, we'd love to see them keep doing it. So, Bruce Morgan.
Hi, my name is Bruce Morgan, and excuse me while I read this because I don't want to forget anybody who was very instrumental in doing this project. Thank you for joining us on such a beautiful day in Hope Lawn. A few years ago, the Hope Lawn VFW Post had reached out to the mayor's office to discuss the sale of its property. Their membership had unfortunately declined, and the Post could no longer afford to maintain the property. As a result of that conversation, Mayor McCormick asked me to take a look at the site as a potential location for a new senior community. It's the mayor's vision to provide the seniors of each of the communities in Woodbridge with beautiful, affordable living environments whereby the senior residents are able to remain in their community at rents that they can afford while receiving services that they require later in life so that they can age in place. Through a collaborative effort between the Woodbridge Affordable Housing Corp., Ingerman, and my firm, BCM Affordable Housing, we were able to secure the $12 million of financing necessary to make the mayor's vision a reality. Dalina Manor, named after freeholder Stephen Pete Dalina, who dedicated his life to the residents of Middlesex County and Woodbridge Township, will contain 57 apartments, 48 one and 9 two-bedroom units. There will be fully furnished community rooms, a workout room, a management and maintenance office, as well as the gazebo for all of the new residents. That being said, what I'm equally proud of, though, is that we will also be able to incorporate the VFW monuments into the new project's design, as well as providing an office within the new building dedicated for the use by the Hope Lawn VFW. The VFW will now be able to use this office as their new post, free of charge, for as long as it would like to remain in the facility. The Hope Lawn VFW is an important member of the community, and Dalina Manor will allow the VFW, along with the new seniors, to age in place gracefully. Pete Wisk, thank you for all of your help making this project a reality. A project like this, though, is never easy to develop and does not come to fruition without a team effort. Leading the team, as he does in all things Woodbridge, is Mayor McCormick. I've developed properties throughout the state of New Jersey and southeastern Pennsylvania, and no other community has a leader as committed to his community or works as hard for his community as Mayor McCormick. Along with Mayor McCormick, his team includes Councilwoman President, and I haven't seen her, Nancy Drum, Carol Ehrlich, Mayor's Chief of Staff, Marta Lefsky, Bob Landolfi, John Haggerty, Erica Aber, Chris Keshi, Heather Lamata, Cindy Bentz, and Jerry Mazarek. Thank you all for all of your hard work and support in making Dalina Manor a reality. This project, though, would not have gotten to go groundbreaking without the tax credits and the financial support provided through the New Jersey Housing and Mortgage Finance Agency. Thank you, Tony Marchetta. The syndication of the tax credits was done by the Richmond Group. Our equity investor and the construction lender is Citibank, along with the home funds, thank God for the home funds, from Middlesex County. Our lawyers, Bob Smith and Arvin Athel, navigated us through the zoning and approval process. The project's designers were from Haley Donovan, Jim Haley, Mike Donovan, Aaron Avery, Sarah Sweeney, Christina Davis, along with the team from Matrix New World, our engineers, Dave Erickson and Mark Cifelli. They've all designed a beautiful new senior building, and I can't wait to show it to you in a year. The Ingerman team included Aaron Walzer, Jeff Long, Ronnie Mitra, Stephanie Eves, Todd Stecker. They moved mountains behind the scenes. Nobody saw what they did, but I did, and it was great. Going forward, Ingerman Construction will build the project, and ultimately Ingerman Management will manage the project. Thanks to all of the construction and management folks who were instrumental in bringing Dalina Manor to fruition. What a great day for Woodbridge and for the Hope Lawn community. As we break ground on Dalina Manor today, I hope to welcome you all back in 1 year to cut the ribbon on this beautiful new senior community. Thank you.
Thank you, Bruce. Bruce mentioned the county and their role in this. I'd like to call up Carol Volante, who is the Deputy Freeholder Director, to say a few words on behalf of Middlesex County. And also introduce our very own freeholder, Charlie Kenny, who joined us here today.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I am very happy to be here speaking on behalf of the Middlesex County freeholders on yet another wonderful project that gives our seniors the opportunity to live affordably and independently. The county allocated $350,000 in federal funds to this project. It is the third affordable senior housing project in Woodbridge to which the county has provided federal funding. That was the Reinhardt Manor last year in the Colonial section, and Maple Tree Manor in Avenel about 14 years ago. What makes this project very special for me and the rest of my freeholder colleagues is that it's being named in honor of one of my dearest friends, Pete Dalina. You can't say enough about Pete. He was one heck of a guy. He was a devoted family man and a great public servant. As director and deputy director of our board for so many years, he set the bar high for the rest of us. He loved Woodbridge, he loved sports, Most of all, he loved helping people. It didn't matter if he knew someone a day or for a lifetime. He always wanted to make people's lives better. That's why it's so fitting that the building will soon bear his name. For an affordable place for people to call home. I want to thank Mayor McCormick and the Woodbridge Council, especially Rick Dalina. It actually brings tears to my heart. When I think of that we're not going to see Pete. Pete should be sitting there making me laugh or telling a joke, right? And then later he would tell me what a great job I did, even though he made me laugh the whole time. Thank you all for coming and sharing this moment with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. The project here is being done through the Woodbridge Affordable Housing Corporation. There's some members in the audience and some other members that are connected to it. I'd now like to call up Carolyn Ehrlich, Chief of Staff and Head of our Redevelopment Agency and Executive Director of the Woodbridge Affordable Housing Corporation, to say a few words and hopefully introduce some of the people in the audience. Carol? Oh, I'm supposed to do that. Okay. Ray Miller, our Planning Board Director. Hank Heidacker, our Redevelopment Agency Executive Director. Bob Gillespie from the Woodbridge Affordable Housing Corp. Frank Bourne, their attorney. Redevelopment Agency, I'm sorry. Richard Lenson, our tax collector. Mortalewski, our planning director, who you heard mentioned before. Megan, the best intern in the mayor's office. Casey from the mayor's office. John Haggerty, our communications director. I didn't mention yet Corey Spiller, our councilman from the 3rd Ward, who covers Avenel and Port Reading, but always likes to come to these events. And now you're good.
Okay, and Frank Boren from Dakotas, who is the attorney for the Affordable Housing Corp, and actually the brains behind it. So I just wanted to take a minute to talk about the Woodbridge Affordable Housing Corp, because it's a very small group of resident volunteers, and they're never in the headlines, they never get the spotlight, but they do an amazing job of working with us in the town to bring the affordable housing for senior citizens to us. Except for Maple Tree, they have been partners in every one of these projects. And it's piles of legal documents that have to be worked through, and lots of hours of work, and they're dedicated to it. And they're just a wonderful group, and I wanted to make sure that they got acknowledged. And I also want to take this opportunity, as Carol did, to just say a few words about Freeholder Dalina and how much he meant to everybody, the whole community of Woodbridge. I don't remember ever seeing him without a smile. I don't remember ever seeing him asking, what can he do? How can he help? When I first got on the council, he literally mentored me. He showed me what to do, how to do it. And I think it was a little bit to Ricky's dismay that he took me under his wing a little bit. But it was just a pleasure to have known him, to work with him. Thank you for sharing him, because he was just the best. And I'm so happy to have played a part in bringing this building and this living memory to us, to you. Thank you.
Should I risk mentioning the rest of the members who are not here? Phil Hall, Sanjay Shah, Denise Rodriguez, Campbell Rodriguez. Help me out. Lizbeth De Jesus is the council rep. Frank, who am I missing?
Heather is the secretary.
Heather's the secretary. Oh, Jack Kenny, okay. I think that's it. Anyway, I'd now like to ask Bill Wist to come up and speak on behalf of the Hope Lawn VFW. And I just can't tell you what a pleasure it is in this business to have somebody that you don't worry about, that you can just completely trust. And when he says something, it's his word, it's good, you shake hands, and it's done. That's not frequent in politics, in government. It doesn't happen a lot. But Bill Wisk and before him Steve Sir are two gentlemen who have been the commanders here, who I just think are just so easy to deal with. And as I said, you talk to Bill, He tells you what he needs. He tells you what he wants. So we tell him what we can do, and we just get along very well. He is the official best dancer at the Evergreen Senior Center. You go with him most of the times. Otherwise, I mean, the ladies are all over him. I mean, the ladies outnumber the men probably 8-1. So he walks in, and he is just, accosted by all the different ladies that want to dance with him. He's always taking pictures. He's always smiling. He's always having fun. And he's been a pleasure to deal with. And like I said, you shake his hand, you know you're good. We need more people like that in our line of business. It doesn't happen a lot. Bill, can you say a few words?
Notice I don't have a lot of papers to open and read to you. I'm just going to want to thank the mayor's office, the city council, and I couldn't believe how many people was involved in this, where I thought it was just between us and the mayor's office. But this is really fantastic. And as you look at our post where it used to be, they saved us. They saved us. We were going to probably fold in another 2 years. But right now we can keep carrying on our tradition of helping veterans. I want to thank everybody involved. Thank you.
One of the biggest advocates for veterans when he was on the Woodbridge Town Council, starting our Support the Troops rally, and he's continued that over now as a Middlesex County freeholder. Charlie would like to say a few words.
Thank you, Mayor. Deputy Director and myself, we travel around to 25 towns in the county. And there's no other town in the county that has projects like this going on the scale that they're going on, other than Woodbridge. So that's a credit to the mayor, the council, the administration, Carol, and the Affordable Housing Corp to put on projects like this and make sure that they're moving forward. And it's very fitting that it's in honor of Pete Dalina. And on the county level, Blanquita Valenti, who's not here today, wasn't able to make it. She is the head of the department that helps fund projects like this. And we have a representative from the county here, and she told me her name before I came up here, and having a senior moment and under nervous pressure. I can't remember. Melissa. Melissa's here from the county. She's part of the housing department. They do a great job in making sure projects like this get funded. And as I said before, having it named after Pete, who was instrumental in getting funding for Maple Tree and for the Kevin Reinhardt Manor, to make sure that our seniors stay here in Woodbridge that want to stay here. Pete's legacy is from, I guess, birth on up through your senior years. When you think about it, the Ford's Fields, the Ford's Little Leagues, the Woodbridge High School. Pete was instrumental in getting us money to redo the fields at Woodbridge High School, where we have the new ball fields and soccer fields. And now Pete's legacy lives on in senior housing. Instrumental, as I said, in the two other projects, having this one named after him. Seniors that can't stay in their house because it's too big for them, or that they can't stay in their house because they just can't get up and down the stairs, but they want to stay in Woodbridge. And so by being able to have projects like this keeps them in Woodbridge. And that's a fantastic job. And, Pete was, as everybody knows, a great guy. As Carol said, always had a smile on his face. He was very good to me when I had the privilege and honor of running to fill his seat on the freeholder board. He took me aside and come over here, sit down here, and he'd have a conversation with me, and it was fantastic. And it's an honor and a pleasure to be here. And so, Mayor, congratulations.
Thank you, Charlie. Our last speaker is the current Second Ward Councilman and the son of the person who this is being named for. I had the distinct privilege of doing a eulogy at Pete Dalina's funeral service, and I said the same thing everybody else said, and I'm running out of things to say now. But Pete was Woodbridge. Pete was especially Second Ward. He was born in Caseby, lived in Fords. Hope Lawn's part of this. This whole Second Ward is a unique section of town that's very cohesive, very tight-knit, and very well known as that. And that's because of Pete's leadership. When we had to come up with a name for Reinhardt Manor, Kevin Reinhardt was the only U.S. serviceman ever killed in the line of duty in Iraq or Afghanistan, and it was appropriate because he was from Colonia. So when it came time to name this, it was pretty much a natural conclusion that we would name it after Pete Dalina because of what he meant to Hope Lawn specifically, the Second Ward specifically, later on all of Woodbridge Township, and more importantly, in his final years, the entirety of Middlesex County. I still think we have the best parks department in the state of New Jersey. Pete ran the parks department for I don't know how many years on the freeholder board. Just a fun-loving, memorable guy. You always had a smile on your face when you were talking to Pete. You heard a lot of great things today. I'll leave it at that and let his son, who is continuing in his legacy with the job he's doing as the second ward councilman. He's in his 23rd year of public service to the great township of Woodbridge and to the second ward. Ladies and gentlemen, Rick Dalina.
First of all, thank you everyone for coming out today on this special day for the Dalina family. I'd like to personally thank the VFW members, the VFW, for working this out with us on the council. There was some opposition outside of the VFW, always trying to throw wrenches into the works, but we worked tightly together. It worked out well, and I want to thank you very much for your cooperation to make this project happen. Also, I'd like to thank the Hope Lawn residents for supporting my father and I through all these years. The VFW basically was the home of where our rallies were. My father had rallies here when he was a councilman. I had rallies here when I was a councilman. Came to many functions over here for different events, whether it was a VFW or a Little League event, and it was a great place, the VFW. And it's only appropriate that it's going to be named after my dad, who we spent a lot of time over here with the veterans and the residents of Hope Lawn. I'd like to thank my mom, Eleanor Dalina, for putting up with us all these years. She was the person that kept all the boys, including my father, in line. She was the one, and she's going right to heaven. One-way pass, there's no two ways about it. Thank you, Mom. I'd like to thank my son for being here today. And my son actually reminded me that 3 years ago is when Ford's Park section was dedicated to my dad, the Dalina Sports Complex. So it was 3 years ago. I don't know if exactly to this date, but right it was to this date. 3 years ago to this date was when the Dalina Sports Complex was dedicated at Ford's Park. So our family is humbled and proud to have this happening today. And I have to personally thank the mayor. There was a meeting when this all first started to meet the citizens, and there was a snowstorm actually, and I think we had to reschedule it. And I happened to unfortunately be out of town when he had the meeting. And at that meeting, I didn't know, the mayor came out and told everybody that it's going to be named after Pete Dalina, the Dalina Manor. And Mayor, thank you so much for keeping my dad's name alive. And it's just amazing. Once the word got out about this coming, the people were calling up left and right, want to know how they could get a room in the Dalina Manor. So, and I know my dad's watching down on us over here, and especially on this beautiful day. So he thanks you. We thank you. God bless.
And the only reason I didn't tell Rick about that in advance is because I thought of it that night at that meeting with the residents. I said, we should name this Dalina Manor, because somebody had mentioned that you weren't here and you were on business, and then it just came to me, wow, it's the right thing to do. It literally happened that night. That's why I didn't tell Rick in advance. It's the way things happen. We covered. Everybody here that's got to speak has spoken. Let's all go grab a shovel. Anybody up here, grab a shovel and bring the cameras over and have our official groundbreaking.